going to focus more on people and on specific applications and services that we might want to get involved with. So what we need to focus on is what people want and what they need and what will be vital to them in the future. We need to think about how these services can benefit from the latest technology, including the cloud, mobile devices, and social networks. And we need to exploit our own technical expertise in providing these services for the people who want them. So I'm going to look at three particular applications or services: environmental services, healthcare services, and education services. So first of all, environmental services. There is some work going on in this area already, and I haven't heard much about it this week at these conferences, but I suggest this as a possible area in which we might want to get involved. This slide is taken from a company called Otai. Otai is the Oneida tribe of Native American Indians in Wisconsin. And they have offices throughout the U.S. They do work for the government throughout the U.S. And, in fact, throughout the world. This slide shows their web-based information management and visualization system, where data are received from the field or from the laboratory or other sources. They're stored in a database system. Then they provide tools that a non-expert user can use as a service for data mining and data analytics to extract the information of interest to the particular user. They also provide display visualization in the form of charts and maps that enable the user to see that information in real time. This application is particularly oriented towards the government because the government supports most of these environmental cleanup projects that Otai is involved in, including projects in California and Japan. However, for the future, perhaps we should think about environmental services a bit differently. We can involve humans in the loop, involve humans in crowdsourcing to count birds, bugs, flowers, perhaps to monitor temperature, humidity, wind, smog, water quality, and so on. And so once these data are gathered, then of course they need to be analyzed. And in fact, there are services already available on the web. There's this website, species/wikimedia.org, which in fact provides biological taxonomy of different species. So you can go there and, having observed a flower or a bird in the wild, you can go to this site and identify it. But once we've identified these species, we can provide perhaps more beyond that in the way of services to see, are those particular species increasing or decreasing in their population? Is this a result of changes in the environment? So there are services that could also be provided along those lines. Now, the next topic I'd like to talk about is healthcare. I was surprised to find out on the registration desk when I arrived several brochures from several companies in Japan who are involved in Health 2.0. This, in fact, is an international movement, but it seems that the Japanese are ahead of some of the rest of us in the U.S. So the Health API directory is a directory of APIs related to health, medical, and life sciences application that are intended to be developer-friendly and to make information available across a wide variety of devices and systems in order to enable automated processing. Another company is Babel Health, which is also has its information out on the registration desk. And what they are involved with is 3D medical imaging. Now, these medical images are stored in the cloud, they're rendered in the cloud, and then made available to the users as web services. This perhaps is geared more towards medical professionals or hospitals rather than the ordinary citizen. So we can think again beyond that and think about how we can provide health care services for the individual that are more personal, such as devices that monitor the person's health, that issue alarms, that encourage the patient to be compliant with the treatment that they are receiving, be it lifestyle or medication treatment, to facilitate communication with the healthcare professionals as well as their caregivers. And again, I found a website called Patients Like Me that specializes in particular kinds of diseases. And so you can go to this website, which is essentially provides a social network that allows people with the same kind of disease to communicate with one another in order to determine perhaps what their prognosis is, whether they can expect to get well soon or whether this is going to take a while, and how they can actually achieve better health. And the third application area is, of course, education. Now, universities are making great strides in this area. You may be aware of MIT's OpenCourseware, where they provide their courseware for free online, and anybody can access it. Of course, you don't have to pay, you don't get credit, you don't get a degree, but you do have access to the information. Wikiversity is similar. There are actually a couple of startup companies in Silicon Valley, Udacity and Coursera, that actually offer specific courses for which you can earn certificates. And Straighter Line is another example where you can actually earn a degree. So these educational services perhaps can allow someone to get a degree in a more technical field without having to go to a traditional university. But I think the really big win can come with the grade schools and the high schools. Young people basically want to learn, but they want to learn what's meaningful to them. They want one-on-one lessons, short lessons. They need to have their progress monitored, and perhaps the results of that monitoring can be used to tailor the further lessons for the individual. They need demonstrations to show the usefulness of the various subjects, particularly the STEM subjects, as we call them, and perhaps also foreign languages. And also I think it's important that the students have mentors who aren't just their teachers or parents, but who are professionals in various fields to guide them on their way to a career. So, in conclusion, my take on this is I think we should think about the services that people want and need, and think about the impact that those services can have on the society. Think of novel ways to use the latest technology and engage people in using the services in order to address significant problems that the society faces. So in the environment, this might be just raising the awareness of the individual on the status of the environment and the human impact on the environment. In healthcare, might enable the person to take more responsibility for his or her own health and perhaps thereby reduce healthcare costs. For education, to stimulate interest and excitement in the students to pursue a particular career. And finally, for the cloud, mobile services, mobile devices, and social networks, what we need to think about is who owns the data. Is the data owned by the mobile device, and the cloud is merely a backup for the data on the device? Or is the data owned by the cloud, and the mobile device serves as a cache for that data in the cloud? The answer to that question really affects how services interact with the users, with other services, and how users interact with each other. We also need to think about sharing of data and synchronizing of data, particularly when there are multiple users, multiple services, multiple devices, and multiple locations involved. We need to develop open APIs to support interoperability, and I think we really need to go beyond web services. I think that the cloud and mobile devices opens a whole new realm for standards work. And we need to think about integrating multiple applications and services dynamically in whatever combination the particular user wants them. This idea of one app at a time, which you heard from one particular company, I think isn't really the right model. That we need applications that interact with each other and that are composed dynamically in real time. Okay, thank you.